Hello, and welcome to In the Know at Churchville-Chili, the podcast intended to educate and empower caregivers by addressing important topics impacting their children and families. Each episode, we will discuss a different topic related to academics, social emotional wellness, mental health supports, or behavior, and provide useful resources to caregivers. This podcast is brought to you by the Churchville-Chili Flash Network.
Hello and welcome to In the Know at Churchville-Chili. My name is Tracy Shavaughn and I am the coordinator of social emotional wellness and inclusivity and will be one of a handful of hosts for this podcast as we go along. Today we are discussing social emotional learning with our SEL school counselor at the middle school and instructional leader for school counseling K-12, Shavaughn Stefaniak. Shavaughn has a decade of experience here at the Churchville-Chili Middle School. She is passionate about equipping students with lifelong coping skills and specializes in yoga and mindfulness, solution-focused counseling, restorative practices, and child abuse prevention. Welcome.
Thank you.
Today we're here to talk about SEL, which is social emotional learning, and I know that the topic can get confusing sometimes, and we even have an SEL counselor, but SEL is not counseling. So can you start with what is SEL and why is it important?
Social emotional learning, or SEL, is all about teaching children the essential life skills they need to thrive, both in and out of the classroom. It's about more than just academics. It's about developing the tools to manage emotions, to build healthy relationships, and to make responsible decisions. CASEL, which stands for the Collaborative for Academic, Social, and Emotional Learning, is a leading nonprofit organization, and they have created a framework that outlines 5 core SEL competencies. These are, number 1, self-awareness. So self-awareness, like understanding your own emotions, your values. This could be, for example, recognizing when you're feeling frustrated or identifying what truly motivates you. Number 2, self-management. So regulating your emotions, your behaviors. This might look like taking deep breaths to calm down or staying focused on a task despite distractions. Number 3, social awareness. Showing empathy and understanding for other people's perspectives and experiences. This could be putting yourself in someone else's shoes or recognizing when someone else needs help. Number 4, relationship skills. Building and maintaining healthy relationships. And we know that developmentally, these skills vary greatly until we reach adulthood. So this includes communicating effectively, cooperating with others, and resolving conflicts constructively. And finally, our 5th SEL skill is responsible decision making. So making ethical and constructive choices. An example is considering the consequences of your actions before making a decision or thinking about how your choices could impact others. So now back to the second part of your question, which is why is SEL so vital? And that's because it's relevant everywhere that you go. Whether your child's on the sports field, in church, participating in community activities, or preparing for their future career, these skills are crucial. Employers consistently rank SEL competencies as the highest employability skills. Strong SEL skills help children collaborate on teams, resolve conflicts, and navigate the complexities of social interactions, thus setting them up for success in every aspect of their lives.
Wow, that's a really nice way to put it, is that it's skills for everyone. And even though we teach these skills in all kind of aspects of childhood and adolescence, but really we're still learning about them even in adulthood. Like we're still learning about ourselves, we're still growing, we're still getting self-awareness, we're still having opportunities to learn more about ourselves too. So really it's an everybody thing of how to be human is what it sounds like.
Yeah, those 5 core competencies that we just really outlined carry along in development and learning from birth until death. Really, it's for everyone, everywhere you go.
Yeah, because you never stop growing.
Right.
That's great. It's also really helpful because SEL has become a topic of discussion, and misconceptions have kind of arisen between families or parents or even educators on what SEL really is. And there are a lot of common misconceptions that we regularly hear, and we really work hard to kind of teach and dispel those. So the first one is SEL is just about feelings. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yes. SEL acknowledges and validates emotions. Yes. But it goes beyond simply recognizing or labeling them. It's about understanding why those feelings arise and what impact they have on our actions and interactions. It's about developing the capacity to navigate life's challenges effectively. Anyone can experience emotions, but SEL teaches us how to manage them, how to build positive relationships, and how to make ethical choices. We're not born knowing how to do those things. It gives us the tools to build a positive and productive life. So, in essence, SEL is just about developing the skills to thrive in all aspects of life, and emotions are just one piece of that huge puzzle. So, let's build a robust toolkit for navigating the complexities of human interaction and personal growth through teaching SEL skills.
Absolutely. What an important piece when you think about when we first start to feel feelings or feel things in our body, being able to recognize what is that feeling in our body? What is it telling us? What is going on? And the only way to learn that is to be able to connect with somebody else to maybe know, oh, that's something that I feel too, or for us to watch our parents and see that modeling. Thank you. That really kind of, ties it together about the how piece. We have these feelings. Those are things that happen from birth, but the how, what
Right.
do we do with them? Another thing that is often said is SEL is only for students maybe with behavioral problems.
Yes, this misconception suggests that SEL is purely a remedial program. In reality, all students benefit from developing social emotional skills, regardless of their behavior.
Yeah, you didn't talk about anything in terms of those 5 competencies that would not be for everybody. Like we talked about, humans from birth to death is really, we need to use these skills and all of those things.
Right.
Another one that I've heard is SEL takes away from our academics.
SEL is not about taking time away from academics. It's just about making that time more effective. SEL learning does not always need to take place in an explicit way where we stop the class and say, okay, instead of teaching XYZ in the curriculum today, we're going to talk about SEL. Educators instead weave social emotional skills directly into their daily classroom routines, into their lessons, and this enhances learning, does not replace it. So if we think of it like this, in a math class, the teacher might assign a group math project. This can teach skills to listen actively, to resolve disagreements respectfully, making group work more productive, and that helps to improve kids' problem solving.
Maybe work together on projects in their employment.
Right. In English class, depending on what you're reading, you might be analyzing characters' emotions and relationships, and that deepens not only the understanding of the story, but it also deepens and strengthens children's empathy. In social studies, through classroom discussions, when we talk about current events or historical topics, this builds students' critical thinking skills and their social awareness. So we see through these examples, by integrating SEL, we're not just teaching subjects, we're teaching students how to learn and how to thrive.
Wonderful. And I know one of the things that I say often is that we also need to have students be able to be ready to learn and in that thinking brain part. And so that self-awareness and that self-management piece really gets us there too, of making sure that we're ready and being able to be our best selves in the classroom.
Yeah.
Or at our job, because like I said, one of the other ones that we've talked about that we want to talk about here is that SEL is something that you should only be taught at home.
So home is the bedrock of a child's social emotional development. Home is where they first learn to understand and navigate feelings.
It's your first model.
Right. School then builds upon that foundation, and it offers a structured environment to practice and refine those skills in a much broader social context. So this partnership between home and school and the child ensures that the child consistently develops the emotional intelligence that's needed to grow and thrive and be successful. And home provides, again, that initial groundwork, with school preparing them for the world ahead.
I like to say sometimes that it's kind of a dress rehearsal, right? School is a dress rehearsal where you might fall down, but you get up. You have that persistence and that perseverance, but that's where you learn those skills. You talked about responsible decision making earlier. There are consequences sometimes for our actions, and we don't know what those are until maybe we go through it or we see somebody else go through it in the classroom, and then that's how we learn. If I do this, this could happen. So next time I might think before I react or act that way. So this offers a nice kind of practice for when we have to get out and have employment and navigate the social world outside of school.
Right.
Well, I really appreciate you clarifying some of this information, especially how important SEL skills are for everyone. I think that is like one of the biggest pieces that you and I are trying to make sure people get from this podcast, is really that it's for everyone, no matter the age. So this is intended for parents and guardians. So what are some things that our parents and guardians can do at home to reinforce some of this learning or to enhance these skills?
Yeah, so you were just talking about how peers can learn a lot from seeing other people make a choice and then seeing the outcomes of that behavior or that situation. So similarly, parents, caregivers, and any other significant adults in the child's personal life are your child's most influential teachers when it comes to social emotional learning. More than any textbook, any lesson, any lecture, your actions and reactions model to your child how to navigate the world. So if we think of it this way, children are constantly observing and absorbing how you manage your own emotions, how you, as a parent, handle conflicts and make decisions. When you show them how you regulate your feelings, practice empathy, and build healthy relationships, you're giving them a real life blueprint for success. Outside of modeling, you could create other opportunities for your child to practice these skills within your home routines. So you might schedule in like an emotion check-in with your child to say, hey, each day we're going to ask each other, how are you feeling today? Or what was the best or most challenging part of your day? And this can help everybody in your family to recognize and express their emotions, which builds upon that self-awareness piece and open communication. You could have like open family problem-solving meetings where if there's a family issue, you gather everybody around for like a mini meeting. You practice active listening to everyone. Everybody gets a turn to speak without interruption. And then you work together to brainstorm solutions. This can strengthen relationship skills and responsible decision making. And again, even going back to like that English class example of simply reading books and analyzing characters and what they're going through, the situations and emotions they're experiencing, you can do that at home when reading to your child. So choose books or stories that feature characters that face emotional or social challenges. And after reading, talk about how the characters felt and what choices they made. Sometimes we think SEL has to be so in-depth and really meaningful, but some of our daily interactions with our kids can make the most impact.
I think about when we're walking down the halls, especially when kids are getting off the bus or things like that, and they're like, oh, I'm so tired and stuff like that. And just by saying, I hope you have a great day, or things like that, it will teach them reframing. Or no matter how tired they are, they're still there in school. I'm glad you showed up even though you're tired. It's showing them persistence. And so I think that all those little tiny moments are building these skills that are helpful to everybody. Because we know there are some mornings where you want to hit the snooze button, but as adults, we've learned, those skills. So I really appreciate you talking about those things and kind of dispelling some of the things that, I think we hear and we don't really understand about SEL and how important it is for everybody. So as we wrap up, are there any final things that you'd like to share, anything that we missed that you think our listeners would?
I think, again, just touching on the potential for positive change in every interaction that you have with your child, with a student. When we embrace SEL and acknowledging and validating emotions, and that we are all in this world going through challenges or struggles, we are opening doors to greater happiness, fulfillment, and well-being for our children and for ourselves.
We are all in this together. Really,
Yes.
we are. Thank you so much for being with us today. I am certainly looking forward to continuing this discussion, and hopefully we can keep helping our parents and all of us really learn these skills and hone in on them.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for listening to this episode of In the Know. We hope you found the information helpful. Please visit our district website and wellness hub at www.cccsd.org/inthe-know for more information, resources, and who to contact for additional support. Now, you're in the know.